Finally, Fog Wrestling has come back to Wrestling Reviews. Welcome back, guys, to the channel. Fog Wrestling, we're back with the NXT review. And it feels like for the first time in over a week that wrestling has been semi-relevant, I guess. Why do I say that? Because Raw was a best of Raw, even though Raw's been shit, so they couldn't show us a 3 hour best of Raw. They had to show us fucking pay-per-view matches with Brock Lesnar. No shit! Stuff with Brock Lesnar is going to be good. Anything on Raw is going to be fucking trash. What are you going to do? Show us Johnny Gargano? Show us Damage Control for another 3 hours? Fuck that. So, yeah, I don't blame them for using Brock Lesnar. But again, back in the day, man, you could have showed 3 hours of Raw, the best of Raw, no problem. You could have showed fucking 200 hours best of Raw, you know, and it would have been all this great stuff, but now they can't even show 3 hours of goodness from the Red brand, so they have to show you some SummerSlam match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And then the last SmackDown was taped, and I don't know, man, say what you want about tape shows, but for me, they're just, they feel like house shows or something. I don't know. They feel like filler. You already know what's happening. You pretty much know that nothing big is going to happen because, like, they just wouldn't waste anything big on a taped show because they want to keep the surprise for when we're live. And it makes perfect sense. I'm not denying that. But when you've got a best of Raw show and then a taped SmackDown show, it just doesn't feel that important, man, over the Christmas period. It doesn't. But here, we're back now with NXT. Don't get me wrong, it felt actually good not having to talk about wrestling non-stop. And if you thought the WWE Diva of the Year 2022 competition tournament is done and dusted, well, it ain't, guys. That will be back. That will be starting tonight, actually, and we'll get, you know, for the next couple of nights, we'll get a few polls up to try and catch us up from the lack of content over the past few days. But let's finally now get in to our NXT review. And now we kick off with Julius Creed versus J.D. McDonagh. And Julius Creed beats J.D. McDonagh. So I'm going to have a wee drink of my Pepsi Max here. This isn't me sponsoring CM Punk by any means, but I am a little bit thirsty. So we'll take a swig of this. As Stone Cold used to say, a swig for the working man. And yes, I have work today, so I'm not just a lazy bum that wants to talk about wrestling. I actually do have a job, so we're going to take a drink of this Pepsi Max, and then we'll be back to talk about Julius Creed versus J.D. McDonagh. And I know everyone cannot wait to hear my opinion on Creed versus McDonagh because it's such a WrestleMania-worthy main match, but I'm actually going to take a drink of this first, so bear with me, guys. Pepsi Max, you know what? It's not that bad, actually. I don't really get the Max flavour, but it's not a bad drink. You know, there's definitely worse than Pepsi Max, and if Pepsi are out there and they want to sponsor the channel, then by all means go ahead, because we're pretty skint and we could use all income. So yeah, Pepsi, give me a shout out, hit me up my DMs. But yeah, let's get back to the match here. I just don't understand it. This J.D. McDonagh guy, he went from feuding with Braun Breaker for the title, and while I never felt like he was going to win, he was pushed as a credible opponent. Now, you could argue they push everybody as a credible opponent, because what would be the fucking point if they're going for the title and they can't win? But out of the Braun Breaker title era reign, I think J.D. McDonagh is one of the people that I would put higher up with a chance of beating him. But he didn't beat him, although it was close. Then they had the triple threat match where J.D. McDonagh wasn't involved in the pinfall, so he lost another shot at the title, but he didn't get beat. So again, he's been in 2 title matches, one with Braun Breaker where he did lose, but it was like a 50-50 match, then a triple threat match where he wasn't pinned. So they kept him strong, and at that stage you're probably thinking, you know what, J.D. McDonagh, he's probably going to get another shot, but he goes into the Iron Survivor match, he doesn't even get a single pinfall, and now he's losing to Julius Creed. Honestly, I don't quite get it, man. I'm not too sure, and I don't even like this guy, but it just feels like over the past 2 months they've literally just dropped the ball with him, or they've given up on him. And again, he's just a small guy that's never going to make it. J.D. McDonagh will never headline a WrestleMania. You look at Braun Breaker probably will headline a WrestleMania. J.D. McDonagh just won't, right? I don't care. Maybe under the shit Triple H era he's got a chance, to be honest, but someone like that looks like JD McDonough, they're just not main event talent. You know, look at the main event guys, right? The main event guys over the years that have drawn have always been big physical fucking men. The likes of JD McDonough or Finn fucking Balor or Ricochet, those guys are not main event, right? They should not be. Circus, maybe. Flip flying and flopping, maybe, but main event in WrestleMania, definitely not. But I don't mind JD McDonough, and I think it's a bit dumb for him just to get buried every single week. Then we move on to a backstage segment with... oh, by the way, the two Indian guys came out and challenged the Creed brothers for a match at New Year's Evil. Who cares about that, honestly? All that build-up with fucking Fear Mahan, and he's been sent back to NXT to be in a fucking jobber tag team, man. Are you serious? Really, man? Honestly, what the hell? We get a backstage segment, quick promo from Tony D and Stax. Stax says he took care of that issue last week, and Stax says that D-Jack will not be an issue tonight when the Dawn takes on Wesley for the NXT North American Championship. Then we get Cora Jade versus Wendy Chu. It pisses me off, man, that Braun Breaker gets to bang Cora Jade every single night, man. Can he not share her, at least? I mean, come on, Braun. The guy wants everything. I mean, what a life. You know, good shape, face of the NXT brand, NXT champion, year-long title reign, banging Cora Jade. His uncle is arguably one of the fucking most entertaining promo guys of all time. Qualified maths teacher as well. I mean, what a life it is being Braun Breaker, seriously. Cora Jade then loses to Wendy Chu, so Wendy Chu gets a bit of payback, and it was an okay match. Then we get Ekman Jiro versus Scripps. I just do not care for this Scripps guy. I didn't really care for his segments, but ever since his debut, I've cared for him even less, so... yeah. We get Alba Fire says that she's got a warning for Isla Dawn. Fire says Dawn's mystical darkness has pushed her to her breaking point, so I guess they're going to have another match at New Year's Evil. I mean, again, I don't really care. Then we have Lash Legend versus Lila Valkyrie. Well, I don't really understand this. Lash Legend, in my opinion, is a pretty good talker. Compared to, like, obviously not my cup of tea, but WWE today, they seem to like the more bigger, taller, you know, more like physical women. If you look at the likes of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, they tried pushing, what's her fucking name? The army chick, I forget her name. But if you look at WWE, they're pushing Raquel Gonzalez pretty big. If you look at WWE, they seem to love these like big physical women, or at least tall women. And Lash Legend's pretty tall. You know, she's a pretty big woman, but for some reason she just jobs out, and I don't really understand it, because I think she's one of the better talkers, especially on NXT. Probably the best in terms of black women in WWE. I'd say she's easily the best on the mic, way better than Bianca Belair, Naomi, Sasha Banks. So I don't know why they don't do more with Lash Legend. Anytime I see her, she's simply losing matches left, right and centre. So, I mean, who knows? Speaking of losing left, right and centre, the Schism, I just hate them. I don't see the point in the Schism. They fucking suck, man. They really do. They beat Idris Enov, Malik Blade and Odyssey Jones. Just a waste of time here. An absolute waste of time. Then we get the fight for the bar. Fallon Henley versus Kiana James. Kiana James loses to Fallon Henley, but again, it wasn't great, was it? No. So Fallon Henley, she wins. She gets to keep the bar for her family. Meanwhile, the virgin on the outside doesn't really know whether he should be happy for his friend or whether he should be unhappy that his crush lost. I'm just happy this match is finished. It wasn't great. Mackenzie Mitchell then interviewed NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. Talking about the honeymoon period of her winning the title. Who's going to be the next challenger? I guess we'll find out soon. We didn't find out tonight though, so I don't know who it's going to be. Then we see Braun Breaker. He says he's going to call out Grayson Waller, but Mackenzie Mitchell tells him that Grayson Waller isn't here tonight. Then we then see a video package for Grayson Waller. He's in Australia, basically soaking up the sun. putting over Australia, saying how beautiful the country is, and saying how fucking dumb Braun Breaker is. Braun Breaker, the big dumb ape. But yeah, he is a bit dumb, isn't he? Big retard. Anyway, Grayson Waller says he will win because he is smarter than Braun. Then Braun smashes the TV, and I guess Braun Breaker doesn't agree with Grayson Waller. Look, I like Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller should win. This Braun Breaker title reign's getting stale. It's getting old. It's getting boring. I don't know what people's fascination is with, like, fucking year title reigns. I don't mind the odd long title reign, but I mean, come on, look at WWE. Roman Reigns, 2.5 years. The Usos approaching a year and a half, or maybe even more than a year and a half now. Mandy Rose, she was approaching a year and a half. Fucking Braun Breaker's almost a year. What is it with these long, boring fucking title reigns, man? Seriously. I don't get it. I really don't get it why people love this shit, because I don't. Then with Drew Gulak, he had like a wrestling school in the ring, basically just doing wrestling moves. Oh, look at me, I can do a headlock scissors takedown. Good for you, mate. So could Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan could sell out any fucking arena in the world. What could you do, mate? Nothing! You couldn't fucking sell out a Twitch bloody room with 2 people in it, so what are you talking about, mate? You're shite. Charlie Dempsey comes out. Who gives a shit about Charlie Dempsey? Charlie Dempsey challenges Hank next week, the janitor. Fuck me, what's happened to NXT? Seriously. And then we get the main event. Wes Lee versus Tony D. Look, I love Tony D. I think the guy is great. I don't think he's brilliant in the ring, but it would be hypocritical for me to hold that against him, because what someone can do in the ring isn't really important to me. As long as you're half decent in the ring and you have good, like, ring psychology and you know how to work a match, then that's all you need to do. Like, you don't need to be a 10 out of 10 in the ring, as long as you're passable, which Tony D is. But the match with Wes Lee didn't really impress me much. And then D-Jack came out, kidnapped Stacks. This distracted Tony D. Then Wes Lee hit like a spinning back heel kick, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. The fans chant for Wes Lee. I think Wes Lee's boring. I honestly think they should have put the belt on Tony D. I don't see anything in Wes Lee. I did feel sorry for him when his tag team partner got released and they got stripped of the tag titles after they just won them at Stand and Deliver. I mean, that sucked that the guy lost out and he lost his first ever tag team title reign in the WWE because of some crazy lying bitch. That wasn't right. That wasn't fair. But I don't think the guy is worthy of being the NXT North American Champion. I don't think there's a lot in the guy. To me, he's just a guy that can do flips and fly, and that's it. I mean, he's not got a character, he's not got a personality. There's nothing about Wes Lee that interests me. There's nothing about Wes Lee that excites me. You look, Wes Lee anyone could do what Wes Lee does, within reason, you know. What is Wes Lee any better than Axiom? Honestly, no. The only difference is Axiom is white and he wears a mask. I mean, that's it. If anything, Axiom's probably he can do more flashy moves than Wes Lee. I just don't really see the fascination, guys, behind Wes Lee, but it is what it is. He wins, holds on to the North American Championship, and also we've seen a segment with Toxic Attraction. It looks like they might be adding a 3rd member, so if they do, that'll be interesting. Who could it be? I think my money would be on Sonya Deville, because she has friends with Mandy Rose, so I guess it would be a good wee fit. But anyway, guys, that is it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. Wasn't impressed. I do think the quality of these shows goes down massively around the Christmas period, but I tell you what, Friday night, big match, John returns, and that'll be getting more than a 2 out of 10. I can smell it already. Big John coming back, hopefully lays this smack down on the Bloodline. But for this NXT, guys, it's getting a 2 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, until next time, peace.